Yo, YouTube, what is up? Radar25 back again with my co-host, Funtamania, Michael.
What up, Marks?
Guys, we are back again, and it's another takeaway video. Last night was Monday Night Raw. It's going to be our two takeaways from Monday Night Raw, the go-home show, Money in the Bank this weekend, this Sunday. Kind of excited about this. We're going to get into the match a little bit later because that's going to be one of our takeaways. I'll let you guys know right now. One of our takeaways is the stipulations to the Money in the Bank matches, how they will work inside WWE headquarters. Excited. It's going to be kind of fun. I really hope that they don't screw it up and it's not too campy, but we're going to talk about that later, guys. Before we get into the video, I want to remind you guys, drop a like on this video and previous videos. Also, if you're watching, not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you guys aren't missing anything that that's being dropped on the channel, live streams and all that stuff. Follow me Instagram, Twitter, links in the description below. It'll also pop on the bottom of the screen. And guys, without further ado, let's jump into the video. Our two takeaways from Monday Night Raw, go home show. All right, guys, the show started with another VIP lounge. Just the way it started last week. It's going to start again this week. Now, last week it was the men. This week is the women. It only had 3 of them. And it was Nia Jax, Asuka, Shayna Baszler in the ring. This was what it was. I think Asuka came off a little bit better here than she normally does. Because I think it just fit because each person's kind of contrasting from another. And she's like that really loud one. Shayna Baszler's like just all action, no talk, and then Nia Jax kind of just the middle person who's kind of like in the middle. That's why I think they were sitting that way.
Yeah, I mean it just felt like they were trying to accomplish something and they just didn't. I don't know. It felt kind of like they screwed up. I don't know what was going on. When they both double kicked Nia out of the ring, it was like, really, that's gonna keep her out? Like she didn't come back in. I don't know. It was a huge miss for me. I just was like, this is not the way you start off the show. It wasn't a good way. I'm not like those VIP shows and those highlight reels and those Piper's Pits. They work sometimes and sometimes they don't.
I think they work less often.
Then yes.
Yeah, or they suck more often than they work, probably.
Yeah, and this was one where it just sucked. It didn't get what it was supposed to get through. Last week's was okay, but this one was like, I don't know. Asuka just gibberishing, and they're just looking at her like, what the fuck? And I don't know.
Yeah. I don't really think you need to build the people in it that much because the circumstances surrounding the match and how different it's going to be. You got to build around the match rather than the people in it. I mean, people in it are who they are. If you're excited, you are. If you're not, you're not. But it's just the match itself. This year is special because of the stipulation around it, how it's going to work. We'll get into that a little bit later. But guys, the next thing on the show, and it's the first takeaway of the night, and we're going to spoiler alert right now, it's the return of AJ Styles, the zombie AJ Styles. This was the last chance gauntlet match to see who gets that empty spot left by Apollo Crews, who got hurt last week for Money in the Bank, to see that last spot. Started off with Bobby Lashley and Titus O'Neil, who we haven't seen since WrestleMania, and we haven't seen wrestle in a long ass time.
Since he took that dive at the Greatest Royal Rumble when he was coming in. But basically the last time I ever saw him wrestle.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, I'll put the GIF in for that. Guys, so we had Bobby Lashley versus Titus O'Neil. Now, Bobby Lashley kind of runs through a lot of this.
Which was good.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be dominant as hell. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the way, if you're going to use him, you need to use him like that, not with Lana or him really talking too much. He needs to just look at the guy, and that's what he needs to be, obviously. Just by looking at him, you know what he should be.
This is what he's always needed to be ever since his first run in WWE and in TNA. He needs to be the guy that doesn't do a lot of talking, just goes in and whips ass, kicks, destroys people because he has the look. He already has the look, but he doesn't have the charisma. So stop making him do these interviews that it doesn't make any sense, or these stupid programs that he's involved with people. It's better. This was done pretty good for him. It was his first time in a while where he was actually interesting.
Yeah, exactly. So let's run through the participants in this match, right? So it starts Bobby Lashley with Titus O'Neil. Titus O'Neil runs through. Titus O'Neil starts off hot, but he gets run through by Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley pins him. Here comes Akira Tozawa, and that shit is just obliteration. It took him less than a minute to take his ass out because he went right through him. Next is Humberto Carrillo, right? And Humberto Carrillo, basically gets through Bobby Lashley. Yeah. So he gets disqualified. Lashley does. So that's the way you get him out. So he doesn't take a pin. So that's fine. You want to keep him strong, I guess. You built him up a little bit in this gauntlet, even though he took on Titus O'Neil. Oh, I'm sorry. He took out Titus, Akira Tozawa, and Shelton. Shelton Benjamin. He took out Shelton Benjamin. Yeah, I forgot Shelton B showed up. He got taken down as well. So that's 3 guys taken down by Lashley. Humberto comes in. Lashley is disqualified, so he doesn't take a pin, which is fine. You build him up. You ran through 3 guys pretty easily, building up as a monster. I think they should continue the build like this for Bobby Lashley. Then Humberto ends up taking on Angel Garza of Zelina's stable.
Which is good to have that feud back because like right before WrestleMania, that was actually like a pretty interesting feud, and they just kind of like put on the axe.
Big time.
So hopefully this will build it up again because those guys work well together.
Yeah, they do. And then Humberto kind of gets a sneaky pin on Garza. Then right after Garza is Austin Theory. Imagine the timing of that, right?
Yeah, of course.
And then Austin Theory as well gets kind of like a sneaky pin on him, and boom, there it is. He does a superplex from the top, and then once he does superplex, Austin Theory, Humberto kind of rolls him up in a cradle and gets the pin on him. And then here we go with the return. The next guy in the match is my boy AJ Styles, the wrestler of the decade, the zombie, Walking Dead AJ Styles has come back because obviously we haven't seen him since he was buried alive at the Boneyard match, the awesome Boneyard match. Go back and watch that again if you guys have time because that match was just awesome. So different, so out there. AJ Styles comes back in, gets the win, hits the calf crusher, and he qualifies for Money in the Bank. And I think right now, I think it goes without saying, he is the favorite right now to win Money in the Bank.
I mean, obviously the favorite. I'm excited to see him back, but I'm also kind of disappointed in the way he came back. And I'm not blaming WWE because I know the situation that they're in, and they're kind of just their hands are tied. But it would have been nice to, it's kind of cheap and it kind of deflates the whole impact of the awesome Boneyard match that was so cool, and him being buried and him just kind of showing up for this. Like this gauntlet match, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like it kind of takes away the specialness from the match. It deflates the feeling. And him coming back and saying that he's not a zombie and it's like, oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that I got buried. Like, no, man, it does matter. It was one of the coolest things of the year or in a long time in wrestling, and we were really excited about it. I just don't love the way he came back. I know their hands were tied and their roster is so limited right now, but man, it just like you could have built that off so much better, or maybe it came back as like around SummerSlam or something like that. But it just fell flat for me. I
mean, like I understand that their hands are tied, right? So they had to kind of just pull the trigger because Apollo, I guess, he's actually injured or whatever the case may be. I'm gonna disagree with you though on the fact that like, okay, it's a we've seen buried alive matches before, right? If it's not Undertaker, they don't really go away that long. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't. It's like. It's already hokey, and you're supposed to suspend your disbelief in like this guy actually got buried alive. He's actually dead or something like that. So then, like, for me, it's like it is what it is because like you bring him back 6 months from now, you bring him back 2 weeks. I mean, how many weeks has it been?
About like maybe 6 weeks, maybe like a month. It was like a month,
right? So
it's been about a month.
I mean, like. To me, it doesn't really matter. We all know he's not actually buried alive. Nobody's gonna actually believe it.
Yeah,
so
we know.
It's like, so if you hold him out longer, is it really gonna make it seem like
it's more of the holding out and maybe coming back like a different character, or like an adjusted character, like make that thing that happened mean something, like in your character growth, or like that, like that whatever happened there, change his character up, refresh them a little bit. I'm not saying it's a full comeback like a different AJ, but just maybe have like a different chip on his shoulder or just something different. I don't know. That's the way I would have felt. It kind of deflated the Boneyard match for me. It felt rushed. It felt unneeded. I don't know.
I mean, it probably is rushed at this point, but to me, it's like, fuck it. I mean, I don't think anybody really cares. It's like, oh, the Boneyard match was awesome. People liked it. Some people hated it. But, buried alive matches are what they are. You're never going to expect the guy to be actually dead. So it's like, bring him back. Fuck it. I mean, to me, if you're going to wait super long to bring him back after something like that, he's got to come back as the opposite of what he was. So he's got to come back as a babyface rather than a heel, just because he's gone for such a long time. People are so excited to see him come back.
Yeah, or just a change in the character a little bit. I mean, I'm not saying a full-on change of AJ, but just like maybe like a darker, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. But that's just the way I felt about it. It just kind of like took it away from it. It felt cheap, but I know where they're at right now. It kind of is what it is. It's the world we live in right now. Yeah,
for me, I thought it was fine. I don't have a problem with it. It is what it is. It's buried alive. Special circumstances, obviously, but for me, if it's not Taker, then there really shouldn't be like anything that super believable going on with character-wise.
Or Kane or Mankind or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, some shit like that. It's like really like, you bring him back, it is what it is. Nobody thought he was dead anyways. He's showing up on Mixer all the time. Follow AJ Styles on Mixer as well. He's showing up on there. So, okay, guys, next thing on the show, we go – this match was set up last week, and this shit pissed me off, all right? So I'm going to say right now, this is
gonna puke. He's gonna puke. He's gonna puke. He's gonna.
This is the shit that sucked, right? This is the shit that sucked. This made me want to puke because I was excited for like the past, 3 weeks or 3 weeks for the team of Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. They're called Two Fly, which is a sucky ass name.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
All right, so it's a sucky ass name for two guys who are awesome in the ring but lack everything. Not everything else, but lack the mic skills and the kind of personality to really get over as singles at this point right now.
That's the main issue.
So they're taking on the newly acquired tag team on like MVP's brand or whatever he's doing. His managerial career now is Brendan Vink and Shane Thorne, which I didn't even know Brendan Vink was like Australian. So
he never talked. This is the first time I heard him talk.
Yeah,
and it was really just like, okay, guys, shut up. Like he had the old school like hand out here. He's just like, God, he's so new. He's just so green.
Yeah. Now we've seen this tag team a bunch of times. They never win, but they've just been guys that they brought out as like bodies to have on the show because the roster's depleted. And this match was set up last week. You know, not to go too much into it because it's not a takeaway, but the unthinkable happens and Vink and Thorne get a win. Now, you're trying to build a new tag team and Two Fly, you know, Cedric Alexander and Ricochet, and then you bring in another tag team that's like a newer guys. And you have
NXT guys.
Yeah, you have them win. That's pointless. You need to build on the tag team. You can't just have guys 50-50. You need to build up a tag team. And that's what you should have done. And you should have Ricochet and Alexander get the win again.
My only defense of this match was that maybe WWE is really trying to build their tag team division. They got the Forgotten Sons on SmackDown. Maybe they're going to make Thorne and Vic a thing, make Two Fly a thing, you know, with the Viking Raiders, with the Street Profits. Maybe that's going to be a thing now, like a stronger tag team division.
Yeah.
That's my only takeaway from it because
it's too much 50-50 back and forth.
It's a lot 50-50 booking, but that's WWE. And it's just like, man, like Thorne and Vic are just like, they look like creative wrestlers. They don't look right. And you just feel bad for Ricochet and Cedric, like, especially Ricochet, man. That guy was like in SummerSlam, he was a big deal during SummerSlam. Now, I mean, his mic skills have always never been anything to write home about, and that's probably why he's not, you know, that's where he is right now. That's why he's losing to Thorne and Vic in a tag team.
Yeah, I mean, like I've said before, there was a time where Ricochet was feuding with AJ Styles and OC. They had a back and forth in the ring and on the mic, and the OC just overpowered Ricochet on the mic. He felt out of place. He just felt subpar. That's what's hurting him right now. But again, you want to build a tag team, why have him lose to just some random guys like
another one of those guys that should have stayed on NXT for a little bit longer.
Yes, should have.
You know?
Guys, next thing on the show is another tag team match, and it's the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders. Now, this entire time, I thought this shit was a tag team match, right? I mean, a tag team title match.
Entire time,
Excuse me, I thought it was a tag team title match. So then,
didn't they announce it last week? That was for the belts. I would have sworn.
Yeah, I could have sworn this shit was for the tag team titles, but it wasn't. And Viking Raiders get the win. Now, this is obviously going to give them a title shot. I'm assuming at Money in the Bank, but as of right now, we don't know because it hasn't been announced. Money in the Bank being this Sunday, so we'll see when they do announce that. But you know, it was a fine, good match. Like both tag teams, you know, one being more flashy than the other, but the powerhouse that is Viking Raiders. I kind of see Viking Raiders more of as a bad guy tag team rather than a good guy tag team to me. Because they're too dominant to be like good guy tag teams, you know what I'm saying? Like they should be, I think.
And their look. And they dominated the Street Profits. I mean, they both got their shit in, but the Viking Raiders really just kind of were controlling the match for most of the match. Their promo afterwards was kind of weak. I'm not loving their promos or their bit. They just don't feel like baby faces, like you said. They're more of like, they should be the brute. They're ugly. They're big. They're Vikings. They should be wild and crazy. And they just kind of like, it feels like two smart guys. And they kind of remind me of Beast from X-Men. They're just like, they're expecting like a bah, and they're just like, well, we took out the Street Profits. It's like, you know, like fascinating. That's what it kind of feels like. So
you're right on that. I do agree on that. They should change the way they kind of talk and a little bit more like savages.
Yeah, like you're called the Viking Raiders. Like, like what do you guys raid in a library? Like it just doesn't feel like, I don't know. They feel out of place.
For the rare occasions to say somebody sounds too intelligent, right? the rare occasion of that, guys.
They're Viking Raiders for crying out loud. So, the Dark Ages.
Viking Raiders beat the Street Profits. Who knows if they'll face the tag for the tag team titles at Money in the Bank or after that? I'm assuming it'd be Money in the Bank. Fill up the card a little bit. Guys, next thing on the show was Charlotte cutting a promo in the ring. I'll talk about Io Shirai. She's facing Io Shirai for the NXT Women's title. Wednesday.
This is right before all these promos started coming up. Like it was like
all the Money in the Bank promos and stuff.
Yeah, no, but you also had Drew talking about the fight later, his match later. Yeah, you had the Raiders promo after they won, Aleister Black promo, the Ray promo. They just kind of felt it was just like promo, and then Charlotte more promo.
Yeah,
a lot of promos,
but it's all just build up because it's the go home show for Raw for Money in the Bank. So that's all that was. Nothing, to write home about really. A lot of random Money in the Bank promos. The typical shit.
Like the hype up, which back in the day would be on the pay per view, like in the 80s or
it'd
be
early
mid
90s. Pay per view. They'll cut to the back and they'll show guys in front of the banner in the back that says Money in the Bank, and they'll be talking and they'll be like, brother,
the old 80s look,
classic baby face where you just rub your hands together like that. Guys, all right. So next thing on the show, like I was saying, Charlotte Flair cut a promo, and then here comes Liv Morgan. And I like Liv Morgan. I mean, she has like a funny little Harley Quinn vibe to her going. She always kind of had that, and then she cuts a promo saying that, the usual people say Charlotte Flair, she's been given everything. Silver spoon in her mouth, Ric Flair's her dad.
Or
so
her ass, like she split almost. Liv almost.
Oh yeah. The silver spoon was in her ass or in her mouth, whatever. So they had a solid match. They seem to be building Liv Morgan because even after the match, Charlotte obviously got the win here with the figure 8, made Liv Morgan tap. But even Byron Saxton was hyping up Liv Morgan, kudos to Liv Morgan putting up a fight in this match and all stuff like that. So fine, they continue to build her. Obviously, she's not on Charlotte's level right now where she should be able to beat Charlotte. But yeah, as another piece they could play with and build on that.
Yeah, like they made her look strong. She had a good match. She had her stuff in. She looked like she could hang with Charlotte. She was going for her finisher, the Oblivion. Got caught into the figure 8.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, definitely someone that you can play. She has a good look. Her promos are pretty solid for the most part. She's interesting. She's a different character. I'm excited to see where Liv goes.
Yeah, I am too. So we'll have Charlotte gets the win. She fights Io Shirai on Wednesday for the NXT Women's title. It good to see that. Now, next thing on the show, I'll preface this spot because it was Drew McIntyre versus Buddy Murphy. I'll preface this by talking about Seth Rollins' in-ring promo that he cut earlier in the night with Charlie Caruso. I'm enjoying everything Seth Rollins is doing as of right now. Since he's come, since he's done the Messiah thing, it's grown on me more, but I'm talking about his promos in general, the way he's been talking about. Now, this is more of the same, talking about how he's a proven leader, and obviously he's able to hold the burden of the WWE Championship and carry the company in his back because he's proven he's done it before, and he can continue to do it, and obviously he's the Messiah and all that stuff like that. So it's another solid promo from Seth Rollins, and again, I enjoy everything he's doing right now and the way he's cutting each promo. Even though he was a little bit more animated this week, brought up his voice a little bit, it was a little louder. But I'm really liking all that he's doing right now. So, Drew McIntyre, Buddy Murphy. This is a fast match. This is quick.
Yeah,
I feel like this match should have been longer because Buddy Murphy's one of those guys who should get more screen time because he is so talented in the ring. This was super, super fast. And, McIntyre gets the win, obviously, right? And then the same right here. I'm finding right here. The match was about 7 minutes long. It felt a lot shorter. It felt a lot shorter than that.
Yeah.
Maybe they ran a little bit too long or whatever the case was. But he wins the match, and then here comes Rollins, right? They have a little bit of back and forth. Rollins cowers away, and then it comes with the surprise and super kicks. McIntyre and holds the title over the head and all that stuff like that. So,
but then,
what happens?
Drew gets up, knocks him out. Seth goes running. So.
Yep. He got quick too. He got it
real quick. Yeah.
Shit. But no. So, not spend too much time on this because we have one more thing after this. It's gonna be our second takeaway of the show. But normally, whoever stands tall at the go home show usually loses. So this is kind of both guys standing tall at the same time, right? So it's kind of throws it up in the air who's gonna win.
I mean, I don't see Drew losing the belt yet. It like the cut the run. He won in Mania. He has to go at least till SummerSlam. This doesn't make any sense if he loses now. So we'll see. But it was interesting, kind of same back and forth that they've been having for the last couple of weeks, where everybody gets their Claymore kick or a super kick in, stuff like that. So it was a solid little segment. Yeah, but need more Murphy. Should have been longer. Murphy's really, really good in the ring. It's a shame it was so short.
Well, the thing is, one of the problems right now is that, so there's no crowd, obviously, so it's not helping Drew, but he's overpowering everybody.
Yeah.
So that's more of like a heel.
But his size.
That's more of a heel thing. So that's why the problem kind of run across. But the problem is that there's no crowd. I think that's the problem that's hurting him the most. But, it didn't really feel like a go-home show, really. Again, like both guys stood tall at one point. So, we all know, I think Drew's going to probably win this one, but we'll see what happens. Now, our second takeaway of the show was where they went over the actual rules of the Money in the Bank matches, and you can go ahead and explain it.
Well, the way I understood it, basically it's going to start at the lobby, and they're just going to work their way up the building. They got free roam to everything, so they can go into offices, they can go into the lunchroom, they can go into the bathrooms, they can go to Vince's office, they can go into the big meeting room,
go in the mechanical rooms,
the
anything.
mechanical room. Like Mancat could be in the dungeon down there, in a boiler room. And the best part about it, I think, is that both the women's match and the men's match are going on at the same time. How it's going to be filmed, no idea.
Yeah, it's going
to
be
weird,
just
I don't know what they're going to do, if it's going to be a split screen or they're just going to show, because what could theoretically happen would be if both matches are going on at the same time in the same room, because they're on at the same time. So let's say they're all up in Vince's office, just destroying the office. There could be so many different scenarios, and so it's fun. It's almost like a video game. It's pretty cool. And then they're making it sound like if you survive the entire building, then you get up to the ring, up on the roof.
Left because
who's ever left. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I mean, you saw the way they were hanging both briefcases next to each other. Like one was lower than the other one. Obviously, the women one, because they're shorter in stature, be lower. So that's gonna be interesting. Yeah, and again, if you survive the whole trek through the whole building, you get to the top. You have your opportunity to fight for the. It's just interesting, right? Now I'm wondering. Okay, so here's a rumor. Becky Lynch did an interview recently, and they asked her about how Vince McMahon is, right? As like a boss, he says he's larger than life as a boss and as a personality in the ring. That he even, he's 70-something years old, but I saw he's jumped off a building and whatever, some shit like that, talking about like jumping off a building and like with no issues. So maybe somebody's gonna take the dive off the building now.
Well, AJ is basically threatening people. He's gonna murder people.
Now he did say he's gonna throw these guys off the building if he had to, right? Now, what I'm interested to see if this turns into a Halloween Havoc 95 at the Cobo Hall, where they had the monster truck of the Giant and Hulk Hogan, battling each other, and then Hogan accidentally knocks the Giant off the Cobo Hall and kills him.
Brother.
Kills him for only about a half an hour, 45 minutes, because he comes back, and that was what we just called the Yeti.
And they both butt fucked the shit out of
there's a butt fucking going on there. But not to get too much into that. Now, I'm wondering if something like that's going to happen, which I will start dying laughing if it does. Because then what do you do with the guy afterwards? Is he dead? No, he came back. Like, you know what I'm saying? And how they're going to work it. I mean, obviously, they're not going to show the guy fly off the building. They'll probably show
they'll edit it.
And then they'll edit it out. Yeah,
I also think, are we going to see just like a normal backstage brawl type camera work, or are we going to see more of like what we saw at WrestleMania with the Firefly
cinematic and stuff?
Cinematic.
No, I think it's going to have to be more of like a guerrilla style, like running around with the guys.
But you can also do kind of like the cinematic inside the building, and then once you get up top, whoever makes it up there, and then you can.
Now, what I'm interested about is, do they get entrances? Now, do they just walk to the front door each person, or they're all in the lobby already, just kind of hanging out, waiting for the match to start?
Do they have to check in?
Do both start at are they all like both men and women's inside the lobby at the same time, and it just starts from there? Because that's a lot of people in that lobby fighting. And then I mean,
again, we've never been in the lobby, so it could be a massive lobby for all we know. I mean, who knows? But it's gonna be interesting.
It's the same building. I know they bought a new property to move headquarters. That was a while back. I think it's the same building as it's always been, right? As of right now, yeah. They haven't moved yet, I don't think.
Well, I drove up to Connecticut about 3-4 months ago, and it was still there. So through the pictures and the video, it's the same building. Right? It's still building, Titan Towers.
They still haven't moved to the other location, which they purchased because their lease was running out. It's gonna be interesting. Yeah, it's gonna be a I don't know. It could go really bad, or it can be really fun. It could be so bad that it's good. Yeah, it's a lot of things that could happen. But we're super, super excited, especially after that announcement of like how it's gonna work. And if what you're saying is correct, that they will be. I mean, that's what we understood from Byron Saxton.
Yeah, that's what Byron said.
They're both going to go on at the same time. It's just
they can end up in the same room, or a couple of, who knows? Because like there's, what is it? It's 6 guys in a match.
I think it's 6, yeah.
6. So like what are you gonna have? 3 guys fighting over here, and they got the girls coming in through here. It's gonna be a complete shit show. I'm excited for it. I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah,
it's basically like how we used to play with our action figures. You're kind of like going up all over the place. That's basically what it's gonna be like.
Like using our wrestling toys, action figures inside of Kingpin's Chrysler Towers.
Exactly.
That we had, stuff like that. That's what's gonna be like.
That's what's gonna be like.
It's gonna be just like something like that, and I hope they don't screw it up. I hope it's not Yeah, I mean, like, I don't really know what to expect, but I'm assuming somebody will fall off the building. That's the only thing I can assume as of right now. Something maybe
AJ says maybe
Undertaker,
gonna murder someone.
maybe Undertaker shows back up and throws AJ off the building to kind of finish the job.
Kill him again, Jesus Christ! He better not come back a month later for that.
No, because if he does come back, if he gets thrown off and he comes back, then Matt Hardy will no longer be the unkillable Matt Hardy. It will be the unkillable AJ Styles, because that man has been buried alive and thrown off a building. We're gonna see what happens, guys. But that is the show. That is the episode. We're excited. Money in the Bank this Sunday. Stay tuned for the.
We're gonna have it that Sunday. We're gonna have it that Sunday.
We're gonna drop that after the show. We're gonna make the video and drop it. Our review of the entire pay-per-view, guys. Wednesday is Wednesday Night Wars. We'll drop that. Friday at Friday Night SmackDown takeaways, and then we'll drop Sunday night, like we said, the Money in the Bank recap show. Guys, thanks again for watching. That's the video. Something to watch. We got tonight another Dark Side of the Ring, I believe. Or no, is that over?
It's tonight. It's a Herb Abrams. I don't know who this is.
Yes,
UWF,
a wrestling promoter. Supposedly the story's kind of wild.
There's some promos on Twitter. Like, just check it out because it's hilarious. It's some of these guys that they created. They created like the Viking, literally huge Viking thing. The like half man, half cat. The Israeli champion. It was nuts. It's hilarious.
You guys see some watch. So stay tuned for that tonight. Dark Side of the Ring. Guys, remember, if it doesn't work for you, bro, do not do the job. We're out.
Later, Marks.